only it was that easy. Alas, us muggles must knit our scarves by hand. Hi, I'm Lena and welcome to my channel. I make lots of sewing, home decor, and cozy crafting videos. Is anybody else completely enamored with the wardrobe in Hogwarts Legacy? I am currently nearly through my second playthrough of the game, and it is one of the things that will keep me coming back. There are many pieces that I would love to bring to life, and today I'll be sharing the free pattern and tutorial for how to make the banded color scarf. Please subscribe and give this video a like if you're interested in trying it out, and comment down below what is your Hogwarts house. Can you guess which mine is? Let's get knitting.
For this project, you'll need 7 100-gram skeins of worsted weight yarn. I used Cascade 220 in the shades Dark Navy, Pine Grove, Brown, Japanese Maple, Faded Denim Heather, and 2 skeins of the color Sunflower. You'll also need 5mm circular needles, a stitch marker, a darning needle, and scissors. I will now show several helpful tutorials for portions of the pattern, and you can find the full free pattern by clicking on the link in the description. Begin by casting on 78 stitches with the backwards loop method and join in the round. After placing your stitch marker, knit all the way around the 78 stitches. Then follow the chart by purling 2 rounds and then knitting 6 rounds before the first color change. Since this scarf is knit in the round, you will need to follow a little trick at the beginning of each section to make the stripes look neat. They are called Jogless Stripes. Here is how it looks after a few more rounds. Knit all the way around the last row of the section and slip your marker. Now I will show you how to do the color change so that you have a clean looking jogless stripe. Begin by knitting all the way around with your new color. Slip your marker, and here is the trick. Hold your yarn in back if the next row is a knit row, and in front if the next row is a purl row. In this case, it's a purl row, so yarn in front. Slip the first stitch purlwise and continue on purling throughout the rest of the row. Here I am finishing up the last 2 purl stitches of this first row. Slip your stitch marker, and at the beginning of this row, all you have to do is treat the slipped stitch normally and purl or knit it according to the chart. Again, in this case, purl it. Once you've done a couple of rows, you'll really start to see that the stripes are looking quite clean and you do not have a jog. It should be quite obvious if you skip this step. Once you've completed a couple of rounds after your color change, I suggest tying your loose ends together quite tightly. You should triple or quadruple knot them. I did not do this at first and actually had to go back after I completed knitting the scarf and retie all of the ends. This is how to do a jogless stripe when switching from a purl section to a knit section. Firstly, knit all the way around. Slip your marker. Now with your yarn held in back, slip the first stitch purlwise. Knit all the way around and continue on with your section. Follow the entirety of the chart and repeat the jogless stripe method whenever there is a change in the pattern. This includes color changes, switching from purl to knit sections, and switching from knit to purl sections. Don't worry if it looks bunched up, blocking the scarf will work wonders. Here I am midway through the project. The scarf took about 2 weeks to knit, and it was a very enjoyable process.
Hello, hello! I am currently purling my very last row of this scarf and I'm very excited to see the final product. I started this scarf about 2 weeks ago, so don't mind the mid-video nail change, but I wanted to talk a bit about the final steps of this project. Firstly, I'm going to finish purling this row and then I will bind it off. And then I'm going to turn the whole scarf inside out. I want to retie a lot of these loose ends where the color changes are and ooh, fluff everywhere. I'm going to triple or quadruple knot every single one of them. And I'm also going to make sure that a lot of them are pulled more tightly because you pretty much want to pull them as tightly as you can without breaking the yarn or anything. It will have a more clean beginning of round. Then I'm going to turn the scarf right side out and I'm going to close up the ends and pretty loosely so there's no puckering. And I'm going to make sure that the beginning of round where all the kind of funkiness is going on is right on the crease. That will help to disguise that very well. And then I'm going to make 16 tassels, 8 for each side, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm also going to show you how I attach them to the scarf. The last step will be to block it, and then we get to wear it, and I'm so excited. I think it's going to be adorable, and I really want to play the game in the scarf. I mean, how fun would that be? Let's finish this thing up.
You can use a simple bind off to finish off this green end of your scarf, but be sure to do it as loosely as you can. Don't do what I did and leave yourself a nice long tail to sew up your end. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had to attach a completely new piece of yarn to do this. As I mentioned, I had to turn my scarf inside out and retie all of my ends, but if you were tying them nice and tightly and triple or quadruple knotting as you knit the scarf, you can skip this step. Now it is time to sew up the two ends. Be sure to have the beginning of round where you have all of those slipped stitches right on the crease. Sew up each end with the corresponding colors, so green on one side and dark blue on the other. Be sure to stitch quite loosely so that you don't have any bunching. The next step will be to add tassels. The tassels will also help disguise any funny looking stuff going on the end here, so don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. Here is how to make a tassel. Use a piece of cardboard that is 2 inches by 5 inches and a 10-inch long piece of yarn, which will blend in with the fabric that it will be sewn into. In the case of this scarf, use 8 dark blue pieces and 8 green. Now wrap your tassel yarn around 10 times. In the case of this project, it is the light blue yarn. Tie the top piece of yarn tightly and slip your tassel off of the cardboard. Holding the tied yarn tightly, use some tension to cut the tassel pieces evenly in half like so. Next, take an 11-inch piece of yarn which matches the tassel yarn and tie it around your tassel to create a little head. Triple knot this. The last step is to give your tassel a haircut. And here are all 16 tassels. I unfortunately had to redo all of them because these are all about an inch too short for this project, so if you have any suggestions as to what I should do with them, please let me know. To attach a tassel, start by partially weaving in the first loose end. Slip the yarn from the needle and thread the second loose end onto it. Also partially weave this one in and then thread it through the head of the tassel. Weave that yarn up through the end of the scarf to meet the first loose end and triple knot them together. Then you can completely weave them into the scarf, cutting off any excess yarn. Evenly space all 8 tassels along each end of the scarf. Mine were about 1 inch apart. Here is what the scarf should look like unblocked. It's a bit bunched up, but it's definitely starting to look good. Here is how to block your scarf. Please know that this blocking method only works for natural fibers. Mine is 100% wool. Begin by soaking your finished item in cool water for 20 minutes, flipping it halfway through. Then squeeze out all of the excess water. Do not twist the fabric. Next, just lie it out flat. I used a blocking mat, but a towel will also work. I also would recommend straightening it out and manipulating the fabric to look exactly how you want the finished piece to look. If you have pins, pin it in place. Straighten out your tassels and leave it to dry completely.